In Evergreen 3.11, the purchase order interface has been updated to Angular. We're going to take a look at what this means for how you create and work with purchase orders. You can get to your purchase orders in the same way that you did previously under the Acquisitions menu. You can search for existing purchase orders, either in the Purchase Orders field or in the General Search. You can also create a purchase order from scratch or by loading a MARC order record. I'm going to go ahead and load a MARC order record to create a purchase order so that you can see the changes that have been made to the upload template. The new version of the Load MARC Order Records interface is similar to the existing cataloging upload interface. Functionally speaking, it's very similar to the 3.9 version of the purchase order interface. However, aesthetically speaking, it's much more similar to how the cataloging upload interface has functioned. Just as in the catalog upload, you can create a template. So we'll start by doing that. In order to create your template, the first step is to provide a name in this top field. Then to fill in the necessary fields below. You can create your templates to be by provider. You can also do a more generic template that is for certain types of uploads, such as AV or fiction, or just your standard template that's going to function pretty much for any version of an upload that you do. Depending on whether or not your template is provider specific, will determine whether or not you include a provider in it. In this case, I have included a provider, but that is not a necessary step when creating the template. It will be a necessary step when actually uploading the records. In addition to the provider, you want to make sure that your fiscal year is set correctly because this will determine how funds are drawn upon. Additionally, you want to make sure that you have checked the Create Purchase Order box. Just as in the 3.9 and earlier versions of Acquisitions, please do not check the Activate Purchase Order box. We recommend that you wait to activate your purchase order from the point of the purchase order itself rather than from the point of creation. This ensures that you are able to check all of your copies and make sure that the information is correct. It also gives you a chance to add additional materials if needed. Down in the Upload Settings section, I'm going to set my record source to System Local and my record match set to Cardinal Match, just as I always would. And my merge profile, in this particular case, I'm going to choose a match only merge. And the rest you don't need to worry about. Now over here in these checkboxes, we want to always make sure that we are importing non-matching records. This way, if there are any records within our record file from the vendor, we are ensuring that those are being uploaded into the system. I'm also going to merge on best match, and this is the default setting that we recommend that you always use. By default, this box should be checked, but make sure that it is. The load items from imported records is very important. That's how you get your items into the purchase order itself. If you skip this step, then you'll have to manually create the number of copies and all of the copy information once you're in the purchase order itself. This is enough for the template, so I'm going to come back up here and save my template. And you can see in this green box that it has been saved. Now for this particular upload, I am going to create my queue and upload my file. These are things that you do not want to do at the template level. You'll want to do it at the individual upload level. For this particular one, I'm going to set day-related queue. Just as in previous versions of this upload, we do recommend that you create a new queue each time rather than using a standard queue and continually adding to it. So I will create my 2023-11 upload queue. And then I will choose my file. Once I've done this, I would click upload and I would then be able to create my purchase order from the records that were in my file. Once I've imported my items, I can see that the purchase order includes a line item for the material that was in the MARC record file. I can also see that my holdings information has translated into what is available on this purchase order by providing a price and by showing how many copies. I can actually see more information about those copies by expanding, which will show me my owning branch, shelving location, fund, and call number and barcode, which may or may not have been included in my record. From here, I could go ahead and activate this purchase order, or I could add additional items to it if I needed to. Just as with the selection lists, I can also add line item notes, and I can make those notes vendor public if needed. I can see more information about the item itself by going into the actual catalog record or by going into the worksheet. I can add direct charges just as I would in 3.9 by clicking New Charge. And then I can come down here and I can fill in the charge type, the fund that I'd like that to come from, the name of the charge, and any information about it. Then, of course, the estimated cost of that charge. And I can save that and have it added to the purchase order. We can see up here at the top that my estimated amount has gone from $25.99, which was the estimated price of the item itself, to $30.99 because of that new direct charge. None of this has been encumbered yet. None of it has been spent yet because I have not activated. Once I activate, that's going to change. So I'm going to go ahead and activate my order. Just as in 3.9, I do have the option to activate without loading items or to activate. Upon activation, I now see that my status has changed to on order. I also see that my amount encumbered has changed to $30.99. You may have noticed that once again, this happened much quicker than in 3.9. I also have the ability to cancel my order from this convenient button. Another new feature of the updated version of the purchase order is down here in my direct charges. I do have the ability to disencumber the estimated cost of my processing fee. So I might want to do that if that fee has not been charged yet, or it turns out that the fulfilling vendor is not going to be charging that fee after all. So I can disencumber that. And I could always also remove it. Now, once I'm ready to actually receive these items, I can check this box here to indicate the line item I wish to receive. And I can come up to my Actions menu and I can mark my selected line item as received, just as I may have done in the 3.9 version. Once I've done that, we do have the change in color to indicate that this has been received. Once I've finished with this, I can finalize the entire order by creating an invoice. The invoices have not yet been updated to Angular, so there are no new changes to the way the invoices function in 3.11, but I can add that to an invoice by either linking it to an existing one or creating a new invoice from the selected line items. And once I've done that, then I can move forward with finalizing this purchase.